Now, on Denver 7 News, prices at the pump and stores continue to rise.
A lot of us aren't going to be able to make it much longer.
While talks of a recession are looming, why experts say there is light at the end of the tunnel.
Gun violence has been a scourge in our society for decades, right? And it only gets worse year after passing year.
Plus, amid the president's efforts on federal gun regulations, we break down Colorado's.
A new exhibit showing the journey of gay rights in our state.
History is such an effective tool for seeing yourself. It's kind of a reflection of your own personal identity.
We get an inside look at the impact the LGBTQ+ community has had in Colorado for decades.
Whether you're looking to buy meat, eggs, produce, you're going to have to pull more out of your wallet for just the essentials. Good evening, and thank you so much for joining us for Denver 7 News at 6. I'm Ann Trujillo.
I'm Shannon Ogden. Glad you're with us tonight. Gasoline prices as well continue to rise, and we are seeing nearly $6 a gallon in some Colorado towns.
Economists warn we could be heading toward a recession. However, the White House says today's jobs report is a good indication that may not happen.
Denver 7's Patrick Perez explains how Coloradans are getting by.
$4.55 for a gallon of gas in Denver.
Yesterday it was only like $4.30. Now it's ridiculously high.
Nearly $7 for a pack of bacon at King Soopers.
Do I buy bacon or not?
Coloradans are having to make tough choices at the pump and the register as prices rise.
Everything is sad right now. I mean, it's just we're in a really, really, really sad state, and the grocery prices and the inflation and the things going up, and it's hard.
Deborah Curtis is on a fixed income but also works as a nanny. She's having to consider increasing how much she charges to make her dollar last longer.
My income's not going up anytime soon, and it makes it hard. You just have to make choices.
For this driver, $10 at the pump used to get him a quarter tank. Now, just 2 gallons. It's barely enough to get him to and from work.
All of us low class, it's hitting us the hardest because we're working for pretty much nothing.
But even as our budgets take a beating, there is some good news. The economy added 390,000 jobs last month, and the unemployment rate is at a steady 3.6%. That's the lowest it's been since February 2020.
This is the kind of steady pace that the president talked about wanting to see earlier this week.
Still, talks of a recession loom as inflation remains at an all-time high and interest rates are expected to rise again. But Heather Boucher, member of President Biden's Council of Economic Advisors, says this isn't an indication the economy will move backward or that growth will stop. After all, one big indicator of a coming recession is high unemployment.
Here's the thing. The labor market is still strong. We've weathered these storms because we put the policies in place so that we could do so.
Boucher says there may be some light at the end of the tunnel when it comes to gas prices, which in turn affects the cost of food. But for your average American, that light can't come soon enough.
A lot of us aren't going to be able to make it much longer.
Patrick Perez, Denver 7.
President Biden has repeatedly blamed the high cost of food and gas on Russia's war in Ukraine. And to ease some of the burdens on American families, Biden is urging Congress to pass his clean energy proposal. OPEC recently announced plans to boost oil supplies by 50%, more than previously planned in July and August, though analysts say the oil cartel has repeatedly overpromised and underdelivered.
And when it comes to the Colorado housing market, prices have dropped, which is a sign the housing market might be cooling off, but slowly. The Denver Metro Association of Realtors says prices dropped just 1% from April. Of course, still expensive to buy a home, right? The average price is nearly $715,000. That's still up 15% from a year ago. Active listings also went up 14% from April and nearly 80% from a year ago. Andrew Abrams says if you want to buy, you may not have to give up your appraisal rights and inspection rights. You may also not have as much competition to buy a home. And right now we are following developing news in southwestern Colorado where 2,000 people in Ignacio on the Southern Ute Reservation are without power while fire crews are out there working to put out the Bear Dance fire. This fire is impacting all tribal campus offices as well as the Sky Ute Casino and Resort. At last check, the fire was burning 5 acres, and this fire is along Bear Dance Road, and it's moving north along the Pine River. La Plata Electric Association says they are working to restore power as quickly as possible.
take a live look now downtown Denver. We see lots of gray clouds. We also have thunderstorms out on the eastern plains.
Chief Meteorologist Mike Nelson is joining us. So what should we expect in the next couple of days, Mike?
It's a little busy this evening. It'll be quieter for the weekend and then very busy early next week. Here's a time lapse over the city today. A little bit of shower activities come through. It didn't amount to too much. The strongest actions out on the eastern plains where severe thunderstorm watches are in effect until 10 o'clock tonight. A couple of heavy spells out near Akron at the moment, at a warning just south of Ray, a severe thunderstorm warning north of Yuma, and farther to the south we have even heavier weather, a tornado warning on this cell just to the north of Lamar, and we can look right into the mouth of that monster storm. This is our Viero camera in Lamar. So we'll have some storms coming up for tonight. Overall, the weekend looks nice. Warm and dry Saturday, a few storms Sunday. A better chance of storms next week. I'll have a full 7-day forecast coming up in about 10 minutes.
After Columbine, after Sandy Hook, after Charleston, after Orlando, after Las Vegas, after Parkland, nothing has been done. This time that can't be true.
President Biden, they're urging Congress to act after these back-to-back mass murders we've seen in Buffalo and Uvalde and in Tulsa. And the president also wants national red flag laws, safe storage laws, stronger background checks, and a ban on assault weapons and high-capacity magazines. Now, short of that, the president is urging Congress to at least raise the age of buying such weapons from 18 to 21.
And while there's a discussion to push for tougher gun laws at the federal level, Colorado lawmakers also find themselves at a stalemate on passing additional gun reform.
As Denver 7's Bayon Wang shows us, some Colorado cities are now taking matters into their own hands.
The mass shooting at the King Soopers in Boulder prompted Governor Jared Polis to sign 3 gun bills into law last year, which expanded background checks, reversed a ban prohibiting local governments from creating their own gun regulations, and prohibited local jurisdictions from creating laws less lenient than the states. Now, 4 cities in Boulder County are taking advantage of that, hoping to add additional measures where they believe Polis fell short.
And even at the state level, there are major challenges with passing reform.
So the urgency couldn't be greater for measures like this.
The city of Boulder, Superior, Louisville, and Lafayette will all go before their city councils next week for the final approval of 6 new gun ordinances, which would ban the sale and possession of assault weapons, ban magazines containing more than 10 bullets, raise the firearm purchasing age from 18 to 21, outlaw open and concealed carry in sensitive places like hospitals, schools, and places of worship, institute a 10-day waiting period to purchase a firearm, outlaw ghost guns, and require firearm dealers to post signs outside of their stores explaining the dangers of firearms.
Denver has had an assault weapons ban for some years, but I believe these other measures are the first in the state.
Aaron Brockett is the mayor of the city of Boulder. He believes these measures are ones the state should consider as well.
There are additional steps that they could take that would be really helpful and effective.
Louisville's Mayor Ashley Stolzman agrees, but she's also aware of the challenges for broad action to take place.
At the state level, there is just a real divide of thought, and it's really hard to have a conversation about this topic.
Meantime, Tim Howard, a member of Superior's Board of Trustees, believes the ordinances are expected to be approved by all 4 municipalities. He says this may be a wake-up call for our state lawmakers.
My hope is that the state legislature will take forward a number of these for potential statewide adoption, that Governor Polis will look and recognize this is what the people of Colorado want.
Bayon Wang, Denver 7.
And June 3rd happens to be National Gun Violence Awareness Day, and you may see people out wearing the color orange to commemorate this day. The Denver Broncos posted a tweet saying, "We wear orange every day, but today we wear orange in honor of all the lives lost and impacted by senseless gun violence." June is also Pride Month, and History Colorado and the Gill Foundation have joined forces to create the first LGBTQ-themed exhibit.
So this has been in the works since 2020, but the first time a state agency has sponsored and hosted an exhibit like this. Denver 7's Micah Smith shows us how it displays the journey toward LGBTQ rights in the state and the impact that has been made by the community.
In 1975,
in the actual verbiage, it didn't say anything that she couldn't.
40 years before the Supreme Court's landmark decision, a Boulder County clerk issued same-sex couples marriage licenses.
She was able to issue 6 before the Attorney General at the time in 1975 shut it down.
Around each colorful corner inside this brand new History Colorado exhibit,
So the name of the exhibit is Rainbows and Revolutions.
you'll find little known stories about LGBTQ Colorado history.
It is the first time that History Colorado has had an LGBTQ themed exhibit.
Aaron Marcus is the Gill Foundation Associate Curator of LGBTQ History and this exhibit.
I have been working on this since October 2019.
Marcus says the exhibit begins in the 1950s and using orange and pink displays.
Maya identifies as queer Latina, and so her painting is amazing.
Takes visitors through a timeline of historic milestones.
We have Governor Jared Polis's tennis shoes. He donated these.
And informational layouts.
So this is where we're going to talk about hormone therapy.
I started my transition in 2021, around February, so I had a lot of pill bottles.
Intern Soleil Hanberry Lizzie helped catalog the items and contributed her hormone therapy bottles.
My own parents are lesbians, I'm trans myself, and it feels like sort of a celebration of everything that we are. I'm getting a little teary-eyed, but it means a lot to me that especially with anti-trans bills aimed at children who are trying to figure themselves out, come out around the country.
I was fired from a job when they found out I was gay in the 90s, in 1995. So that was very personal to me. We'll also talk about HIV and AIDS, and I know a lot of people that are living with it or have passed away from the disease.
Epidemics, Stonewall, secret societies, and equal rights battles that continue today. Marcus says when visitors walk through here, he wants them to learn about the struggles, celebrate the victories, and remember the long road ahead. Reporting in Denver, Micah Smith, Denver 7.
Coming up, from wildfires to forever chemicals, we take a look at the latest bill signed into state law today.
I like being really creative and making other people happy and money.
Brightening the neighborhood one sidewalk at a time. We meet a Colorado kid making his neighbor's day and some extra money.